Okay, can you hear me now? Can anyone hear me now? No? It should be. Okay, there we go. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, traveling. It's gotten things. Right, traveling messed up my settings, but looks like it's working now. So thank you for letting me know. Let me know if any other issues occur during this. But we'll get back on track now. Okay, so starting over. The way that this format works for anyone who hasn't joined a live stream before, the first few minutes, the first segment, I'll go over our latest properties. Then I'll go over some of the blog posts and videos that I've posted. And then in the final segment, we'll do the vacation giveaway, which I know you're all here for. And for anyone who is, I'm good, how are you, Silent Ninja? Oh, and then of course, throughout, you can ask questions on the chat and I'll answer whenever there's a break. And very quickly, for anyone who's not familiar, my name's Erica. I have a company, Gokche Capital. You can find my website at gokchecapital.com. I buy and sell vacant land, but I also like to put out a lot of resources because I know that vacant land is a complicated investment and there's not always adequate information to help you do proper due diligence. So I try to put out a lot of information that I thought was helpful whenever I'm doing research and I uncover something new that's an issue. I like to share what I've discovered. So I have blog posts with a wide range of topics that I've found interesting or helpful. And then I also, of course, have this YouTube channel. You've probably seen some of the videos. I do have videos on the properties we post, but I also have what we call our Gokche Knowledge videos, which cover due diligence items and other important real estate topics. And interesting question from Silent Ninja. Where was your first property that you ever purchased? And I don't remember off the top of my head, but I believe it was in Tierra Grande, New Mexico, which is actually still one of our favorite places to buy and sell land. It's this area just 15 minutes to the south of Albuquerque. I've covered some of our Tierra Grande videos in previous live streams, but it's a rural subdivision. It is in an HOA community, but it's actually quite a gorgeous area. We've been out there. Yeah, you have a beautiful view of the mountains. It's pretty tranquil out there. We were really impressed by the beauty of the area. So, yeah, that's a good question. Thank you. So to get started, I'll cover our latest property. I will note that I'm going to try and keep today a little bit short because I don't have my whole setup and I'm on vacation. But so I hope you're all okay with that. But I did recently post a property in Cook County, Georgia. We've been looking at Georgia a lot recently. It seems to be a popular state. A lot of you have been buying the properties we've posted fairly quickly, so I think it's a place that seems to have a lot of demand. I hope that rings true with all of you. Yeah, it has good climate and reasonably priced properties. Thank you. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of property buying in Georgia. We'll probably have some more in the state in the upcoming months if you're interested in Georgia. But this particular property is in southern Georgia. It's actually within the boundaries of the town of Lenox, which is a small rural town. It has about 750 people. You can see here, here's the little town. It does have a couple public parks. There's a school about 1 minute from the block. But this is, rural Georgia. You can see from the surrounding landscape, there's a lot of fields and little forests. And the property itself is off of Hayes Road here. It is in the it is within the town. This is a residential area. You can see that there are a number of homes in the nearby vicinity. This property is currently wooded. We actually have photos of it at the bottom of our listing page. Oh, I should note, if you haven't been to our website before, you can click from the home page, just click Buy Land to see our main listing page. That'll pull up a map with all of our available properties, and you can click on any of the pens here and then click Available to get more information on that particular property. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, but we also have a text alert option. So if you click subscribe, you can subscribe to our weekly, sometimes bi-weekly newsletter. And usually in the newsletter, I flag latest blog posts or things that I've been thinking about. But you can also get a text notification whenever we post a new property. So you can receive a text alert for whenever we post a property, regardless of the state, or you can select up to 5 states and you'd only get alerts for those particular states. I'll just flag that there. So yes, this is a wooded property. There are power lines along Hayes Road, and according to my research, there should be public water and sewer available for connection. You would need to pay the connection fee. But as with anything related to building and zoning, I do recommend that you give the town of Lenox a call to confirm that there is public water and sewer, and also to confirm the zoning. In this case, according to my research, the property is zoned R22. It's a residential zoning, which allows for single-family homes, but not mobile homes or RVs. So keep that in mind. That's actually pretty standard when you're talking about a lot that's actually within a city or a town. Unfortunately, many cities or towns don't look so kindly on mobile homes and RVs. That's the basic details. It is about 0.6 acres, just under 0.6 acres. And the cash discount price at this time is $13,999. We do, as with all of our properties, offer owner financing. It's $1 down plus the document fee, and then 0% APR, so there's no interest, but you don't get the cash discount price. There's also no prepayment penalty and no credit check. And I think a lot of you are familiar with the process, but we have a very easy buy process. Simply click Buy or Hold, and you can either hold the property. It's for up to 8 days, so it's $25 for every 2 days. You simply click Hold to hold the property while you do your due diligence, or you can click Buy, and that will let you buy either with the cash price or with owner financing. Now I see I have a comment here from Silent Ninja. Have you ever considered acquiring free houses from places that usually require certain things, such as building or renovating the house within a certain time limit? Acquiring free houses. Could you clarify what you mean by that? As in participating in the cities that are doing homesteading programs? Or acquiring properties like through land banks, something like that. We actually, I should say, just to answer the question more broadly, we don't yet purchase land with any kind of improvement on it, including a house. That may change, but probably not in the near future. Right now, we understand vacant land, and that's where we're going to stay because we feel like it's our wheelhouse. But certainly acquiring homes is another big segment of the real estate industry. And there are a lot of interesting programs out there for affordable housing or for fixer-uppers, but I'm not as familiar with them. I hope that answers the question. Oh, yeah. So just to clarify, Silent Ninja is saying in Japan, certain towns will give you a free home that is abandoned or unoccupied as long as you live there and fix it up within a time limit. So yeah, I think there are actually some towns in the US that do that too. Although usually I see it's more common for a jurisdiction to have a land bank. So they give those properties to a land bank and you have to purchase the property from the land bank. We have an article on land banks if you're interested in that. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. I mean, there are a lot of cities that really need help with abandoned properties, and I know that there are some organizations that they fix them up and resell them, but they also do things like tear them down and create community gardens and stuff. So there is a lot of interesting stuff going on in that space. I'm just not as familiar with it, but it's worth researching and looking into land banks. And so that segue, but thank you. Interesting point of conversation. Always appreciate it. To have interesting concepts to think about. So that's a good segue, though, into the latest blog posts. There's one blog post that I really wanted to highlight because I was excited about, and that's our home biogas blog. I have someone who's subscribed to our newsletter who often responds to the emails I send, and he sent a fairly long email talking about his home biogas unit, and it just sounded really interesting, so I wanted to do more research on it and share it. I know many of you are interested in off-grid living and homesteading, so home biogas is another one of those off-grid solutions in a way to produce your own fuel. So it's a really interesting topic. Basically, you just use organic waste to produce gas that you can use for cooking. It's kind of like compost on steroids, I suppose, or you're just collecting the waste product, the waste gas from the compost and using it. So it's an interesting concept. Not a lot of people are doing it, but it's I think a really interesting technology for anyone who wants to live off grid. So you can check that one out. I was excited about that blog post. Then I did another one on highest and best use, which many of you are probably familiar with this. It's a very common real estate term, but if you're not, it's worth understanding, especially if you're looking to buy land, because it's going to be key for getting an appropriate valuation, especially if you're going to hire an appraiser to do an appraisal. And it's a really important concept for vacant land, because vacant land in particular can often have multiple potential uses, and you want to know what its highest and best use is, which is, as the name would suggest, the use that is not only practical and allowed, but also is going to yield the highest return on your investment or the highest value for the property. And you do want to be very careful and make certain that if you do an appraisal, the valuation is based on highest and best use. And it's also important to understand that highest and best use does not necessarily mean the current use of the property. You see that a lot in vacant land. I mean, vacant land is often unused, so of course that's not going to be the highest and best use, but you'll also see vacant land that's being used as grazing land or farmland, and that may, of course, not necessarily be its highest and best use. But the other important thing about highest and best use is just because you know what the highest and best use is doesn't mean you necessarily need to use the property in that way. I mean, many people buy vacant land not just to get the highest return or the greatest value from it, but to, make sure that personal goals are met, like having great recreational property, conserving land, getting great hunting land, farming, growing your own crops, homesteading, building your own home. All of these are uses of land that have personal value beyond what the highest and best use may be. So it's a good concept to know. If you're not familiar with it, you may want to check out that blog post. And then I did another blog post on pocket neighborhoods, which is it's a little bit of a random topic, but I found it interesting. I can't even remember where I came across pocket neighborhoods, but they're one of these ideas that an architect came up with to try and help produce more affordable housing. They're basically very small communities, a little bit larger than tiny homes. They're usually not quite as small as tiny homes, so they They may be more like 850 to 1,000 square feet rather than 450, but they're small homes that are built around a courtyard or a community green space. And it's a way to, in many areas, it's a way to try and get almost a multifamily density on a lot that may only that may not allow sort of vertical high rises. It's also a way to try and create more community within a still somewhat suburban feel. So I thought it was interesting. And for anyone who is interested in tiny homes or kind of alternative living arrangements, that may be interesting to look into as well. And let's see, Paulina had a question. I missed the last land giveaway in March. Will there be another one in October? Yes, we do one every March and October. And this will segue to the YouTube channel. But actually, if you go to the YouTube channel, or you can just search on YouTube, Goche Capital Free Land, it should come up. The latest one should come up. Although maybe you have to scroll down to it. Well, you can also go to our playlist, Ongoing Promotions, and you'll see the latest free land giveaway in Ongoing Promotions. This is the one that's ending October 1st. So if you want to participate, you just add a comment, and we'll randomly select one person who commented on October 1st and give them a free property. So yeah, that is always, we will always have a free land giveaway going. If you want to participate in that and haven't already, check it out. Also, I just posted another video. This one is on a program called Landgate, which I recently discovered and I was pretty excited about. I do want to disclose that they sponsored this video, but the reason I accepted a sponsored post is because I actually really like Landgate. I think it solves an issue that many landowners, or at least those who are interested in solar and wind leasing, have had, and that is that it can be hard as a landowner to find a developer if you really want to lease your land for wind and solar development. So Landgate allows you to list your property. So they try to connect landowners with developers. But for anyone who is just interested in doing due diligence, they do have a lot of great resources for due diligence. In particular, they can help you get a back of the envelope valuation of your property. They do have some land valuation numbers, but they also help you get initial estimate on the value of the resources on the property as well, such as any mineral resources, its potential for solar and wind development. Also, what I found pretty interesting is they'll give you the potential that you could make if you wanted to sell it in the carbon credit market, because vacant land usually has potential to sequester carbon. If you have trees on the property, definitely, but even just soil by itself can sequester carbon. And these days there are people who will pay you for your ability to sequester carbon. So Landgate gives you kind of back of the envelope estimate for the potential carbon credit value of the property, both now and over a 30-year average. And also, if you wanted to reforest the property, what additional value that may bring in the market. So I just thought it was a really useful tool. And I took them up on the offer to do a video for that because I personally really liked it. And let's see, we have a few more comments here. Oh, Giselle, you do live in a sort of pocket neighborhood. That's interesting. It was built in the 1970s. Yeah, how do you like living in a pocket neighborhood? It seems like an interesting concept to me. Does it actually produce a sense of community? I'd be interested to hear if it works in that way. And Silent Ninja, oh, thank you for the comment. Oh, it caught fire on Friday. Oof. Well, I hope no one was hurt. And Silent Ninja, yes, thank you for your comment. I'm glad that the opportunities resonate with all of you. And that's actually a good segue into this week's vacation giveaway. Giselle, you're saying it would be nice, the pocket neighborhood would be nice if it wasn't for the HOA bickering. Yeah. Poorly run HOAs can ruin things. I know. That's a tricky thing with a lot of these interesting concepts, is the actual governance becomes pretty tricky. You need good people running any sort of community governance structure. But yeah, so that brings us to this week's vacation giveaway. I know many of you have heard the spiel before, but I'll just quickly cover the terms. What it is a voucher valid for generally a 3-night stay, but in some locations it's actually 4. It's a 3-night stay in what our travel partner would say is a luxury level hotel. The vacation stay, so the hotel stay, is complimentary, although you do need to pay the taxes, the regular hotel taxes. And it's a voucher, it's for 1 or 2 people, although there are some locations that will allow you to bring children. You'll just have less options to choose from. I also just wanted to note that there are going to be limitations on when you can book. So most major holidays will be off, and then there is usually a fee if you want to book weekends. So just keep that in mind. If you don't want the vacation voucher, or you're not eligible anymore because you can only get 1 voucher every 12 months, we can also give you a hotel savings card. And or if you've already won a vacation giveaway, you can give that voucher to a friend or family member as long as they didn't redeem the voucher you won with you. So those are the terms. Anyone who's interested in purchasing or participating, I should say, just say yes, and then we'll order everyone by the order in which you said yes. So the first person to say yes will be 1, the second 2, so on and so on, and then I'll pick a random number, and whoever's associated with the number that comes up, they will be this week's winner. And while I'm waiting for everyone to say yes, I see that there were a few more comments, so I'll look at these. Silent Ninja asked, have you bought any land in other countries? No, we have not. We don't plan to buy land internationally because figuring out all the rules and regulations in another country is kind of a whole nother can of worms that we're just not interested in getting into right now. I will say that there do seem to be land investors who are working in other countries. I've seen companies that are working in, say, Belize and all of that, but yeah, we haven't branched out internationally. And someone was asking about land syndications. So I think you mean like pooling investor money and using that to purchase land. If that's what you're referring to, Paulina. We don't do land syndications. Right now, we actually don't work with outside investors at all. Maybe at some point in the future, but that would be a ways away, not in the near future. But and then Lisa had a question, are there better areas for tiny house living or off-grid living? Yes, there are. You really want to be in a place with fairly relaxed zoning regulations, because most towns and cities are going to have zoning or building code restrictions on tiny homes. Off-grid living, you're more likely to be able to do, but you're still, as long as you're using a regular septic system and you're not in an area where you could connect to public water and sewer. But there are some areas that don't have zoning at all, and some areas that have more permissive zoning, so you'd want to look in those areas. We actually did a blog post on buying land for tiny homes. Let me see, land for tiny homes. I believe this one has a list of states. see. Yeah. So which states have flexible building codes or zoning regulations? And I'll just put this in the chat. Okay. And so let me see. I think everyone said yes who wanted to say yes. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It looks like we have 12 yeses. Last week I did miscount, so if I make any mistakes, please catch me. I'll double check this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yes, it looks like we have 12. And so I'm going to select a random number between 1 and 12. I'll let Google do it for me. All right, and well, let's just generate it again so we can make sure it's random. All right, so it looks like number 2. Well, hopefully I won't make a mistake with number 2. Silent Ninja, that would be you. It's great because you've been participating so much in the chat today. I'm glad you're the winner. So congratulations. If you would like to redeem your voucher, just send me an email. I'll send you the list of locations and you can select the one that you would like. If you don't have it, my contact information is on the website at Contact Us, but I'll type in the email here. And oh, glad we've got a discussion going about tiny homes. Yeah, anyone, I'd be curious to see where people, if anyone has experience buying tiny homes, where you've been most successful, because I know that is a struggle for many people, finding land where you're allowed to build a tiny home. I heard about Crystal, Nevada. They did have a community there. There was a community in Las Vegas. I think it's still going. It was started by the founder of Zappos back before he sadly passed away. So Nevada's definitely seems to be a good state for tiny homes if you are okay with the heat. But yeah, keep me updated, Jen. I'd be curious to see how it goes. But yeah, thank you everyone for participating as always. I know Sunday evening is a key time, so thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope that I can be helpful. But again, I'll be here every week, same time, same place. We'll be doing a vacation giveaway every Sunday as well, at least for the near future. So join. The more often you join, the more likely it is that you'll win. And even if you win, you can always win again. I can give you a hotel savings card as well. So thank you all, everyone. And oh, Silent Ninja, that's funny. You lit a candle. Well, I guess it worked. You never know what'll work. So thank you all for joining, and I hope to see you again next